I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Peace and safety to the hopefully elect, all the sincere Akim, scattered throughout the four corners, pushing his word in sincerity and in truth. For those who don't know, Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushua is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is another edition of private interpretations. So this is 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 20. And it reads, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. And the prophecy I'm going to go into is in the book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 11, dealing with the mark of the beast. Alright? And the private interpretation is that it's referring to an RFID microchip. Alright, that's a private interpretation and it's not biblical. Verse 21, for the prophecy came not in old times by the will of man, and the RFID microchip doctrine came in by the will of man. Like I said, it's not biblical and it's not backed up by any precepts. Alright, so it says, but holy men of the power spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. And that's referring to the precepts, to the scriptures. Alright, to that foundation, starting with Yahushua and the apostles and the prophets, meaning that wise counsel. Alright, meaning stick to what's written. So in this edition of private interpretations, I'm going to show you through the precepts that this mark is not referring to an RFID microchip. Alright, that was brought in by the will of man, and the man is Elder Tahar at Great Millstone, and he basically got that doctrine from an Edomite called Terry Cook. That RFID microchip doctrine comes from Esau. Alright, Edomite by the name of Terry Cook. Such as a lot of these guys' doctrine, that missile doctrine, it was basically brought in by the will of man. And these One West splinter camps, they all teach that America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear weapons. But that's not supported by the scriptures either, and it's not biblical. And it was basically, they took it from Bible.org. Alright? If you do research on an Edomite named Michael D. Faulkner, he was the one that came up with this nuclear missile doctrine that all these One West splinter camps teach. So this is the book of Revelation chapter 14 and verse 11, dealing with that mark. So it says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. Now you have another private interpretation that the Edomites, and for those who don't know, the Edomites is the so-called white man, the Caucasians, alright, what you would call so-called Europeans, alright. And it's a doctrine being taught that after 1,000 years of slavery, they're going to be done away with, which that's total madness, and that's not supported biblically either. All right, because it says the smoke of their torment, and that smoke is part of that indignation, that righteous anger. All right, that the Lord have with the nation of Edom, according to the book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 4. Remember, Esau, Edom, he says, they're the nation of people whom the Lord will have indignation, meaning smoke, all right, with forever. Not for 1,000 years, but forever. So it says, and they shall have no rest, day and night. Who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth his mark. Now I want to look up this word mark, and as you can see on your screen, it says charagma. And as you can see, the definition here is a stamp. Now what I want to do is go to the Apocrypha, and I want to read 1 Maccabees chapter 15 and verse 6. And it says, I give thee leave also to coin money for thy country with thy own stamp. And that's what that mark is referring to. Money, currency. And I'm going to show you that through this lesson. Alright? The RFID microchip doctrine is a private interpretation. Alright? So this is 1 Maccabees chapter 15 and verse 6. I give thee leave also to coin money. Alright? And this is what that mark is referring to. Money for thy country with thy own stamp. Alright? With thy own superscription. Alright? With thy own name. Alright? So, as you can see on your screen here, it says a stamp. Alright? The definition for the word mark. Alright? Charagma. And it says an imprinted mark. An imprinted mark. And that's what you have on your money today. On your paper money. Alright? An imprinted mark. So it says the mark branded upon horses. It says thing carved. Alright? Thing carved. And that's how a superscription, alright, is made, man. And I'm going to show you that. A sculpture. Alright? You know, on your money you have the sculpture of the Caesar. Alright? Of the president. It says graven work. Alright? Graven work. Alright? These are the definition for the word mark. Here in the Strong's definition, it says a scratch or etching mean to write. Alright? Etching is to write. That is stamp. Alright? We read in 1 Maccabees 15 and 6 that stamp, alright, referring to that mark going back to money. Alright? So it says graven mark, sculptured figure. Alright? And that will be your sculpture on your money. Alright? The figure of the presidents, man. Alright? So, going back to book of Revelation chapter 14 and verse 11, it says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Alright, referring to the mark of the beast. Alright, the mark of his name. Alright, that. So, now let's get the next precept and show you exactly what that's referring to. Alright, this is the book of Matthew chapter 22 and verse 19. And it reads, show me the tribute money. Now I want to look up this word tribute. And it says census among the Romans denoting a registered and valuation of property in accordance with which taxes are paid. In the New Testament, the tax or tribute levied on an individual to be paid yearly. Alright, it says the coin which with the tax is paid tribute money. Alright, just like we have in our pocket today, would be considered the tribute money. Alright, because you can't pay taxes with another currency from another nation, man. You have to pay with the tribute money, which is the currency that we have today, which is called the dollar bill. Alright, so it says the coin, which, you know, we use paper money today. In those times, they used coins, whether they was gold coins, silver coins, alright, which with the tax is paid, and that would be considered the tribute money. Alright, so it says census, that is a tax tribute. Okay, so now I want to look up this word money. All right, because according to Elder Tahar, money is silver and gold. But according to Yahweh Shai, let's see what money is referring to. So it says anything, not just silver and gold, anything received and sanctioned by use or law. All right. So it's not only referring to silver and gold. All right. It's referring to anything received and sanctioned, all right, by the government, all right, by usage of law. All right. So whatever kingdom sanctioned as money, all right, by law, okay, that's what's considered as money in that kingdom. So it says money, current coin, legal tender. All right. Remember, anything received and sanctioned by usage of law. All right. So it can be a leaf if they want it to be. All right. It could be a piece of cloth. All right. In this kingdom, it's a piece of paper. All right. With a stamp. All right. An image. All right. Of what the presidents, which in those days was called Caesars. All right. Which is only a title. All right. The Caesar is not referring to a particular man. All right. Just like the president is not referring to a particular man. It's a title. All right. And I'm going to show you that in this lesson. So it says current coin. But the point is anything received and sanctioned by usage or law. All right. So the American government, the United States government sanctioned the dollar bill as the tribute money. All right. By law. And that's what you would be paying your taxes with. In the Lord days, it was the denarius. All right. That's so it says, and they bought unto him a penny. All right. And that penny is referring to a denarius. All right. A Roman silver coin. In the New Testament time, it took the name from it being equal to 10 asses. Let's see here. It says a denarius. All right. Today we use the dollar bill. All right. So now that we know money, all right, according to Yahweh Shai, is anything, all right, sanctioned by usage or by law as tribute money. So verse 20, it says, and he saith unto them, who is this image? All right, who is this image on this penny, on this denarius, on this money? All right, and superscription. Now, superscription is the word I want to deal with. All right, so now I want to look up this word, superscription. And as you can see on your screen, it says an inscription, title. All right, title. All right, remember the presidents, Caesars, their titles. All right, referring to the king at that particular time. All right, so remember that title. All right, because that will be your superscription, your inscription. All right, a title. All right, just like you have on your currency today. In the New Testament, of an inscription in black letters upon a whitened tablet. All right, and it says of an inscription on a coin, a title. All right, a superscription or a name. All right, remember the mark of his name. All right, which is that title, which is that superscription, which is that inscription. All right, which is that stamp. All right, so it says inscription, superscription. Now I want to look up the root word for superscription, and it says to write upon. To write what? A superscription, which is a title, a name. All right, not referring to an RFID microchip, man. All right. So it says inscription, metaphorically, to write upon the mind. All right. So it says to inscribe. All right. To inscribe meaning to write. All right. Physically or mentally. It says inscription, write in, over thereon. All right. So meaning to write. All right. That superscription is a title. All right. That's inscribed. That's engraved. All right. Which will be that imprinted mark. All right. That stamp. So let's read this Matthew 22 and 19 and 20 again. And it says, show me the tribute money. And he brought unto me a penny. And he saith unto them, whose this image and superscription, meaning title, all right, meaning mark, all right. And we know, verse 21, it says, and they say unto him, Caesar's. All right, so now I want to look up this word Caesar's, all right, which today would be referred to as presidents. So it says the surname of Julius Caesar, which adopted by Octavius Augustus and his successors afterward became a title. Okay, a title. So that's that superscription, all right, that was on that penny, all right, on that money. Remember, money is anything sanctioned by usage of law as tribute money, all right, by the government, all right. So it says afterward became a title and was appropriated by the Roman emperors as part of their title, just like you have today with the presidents, all right. And that would be your superscription. So now what I want to do is look up this word superscription, all right, in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. And as you can see on your screen, it says definition for superscription. It says something written or engraved, all right. Remember the definition for mark, all right, grave, all right, a graven image. So it says something written or engraved, all right, a title, a superscription on the surface of, outside, or above something else, all right. So that's what the superscription is referring to, that title, all right, like you have on your currency today, all right, just like you have on your currency today. So it says inscription, all right. So I want to look up this inscription, and it says something that is inscribed, also superscription, and it says the wording on a coin, all right, the wording on a coin, the title, the superscription, or the mark, the stamp on a coin, metal, seal, or currency note, paper money, all right, like we use today, okay. So that would be your superscription, man, all right. The mark is not referring to an RFID microchip. Like I say, that's a private interpretation. It's not biblical. It was brought in by the will of man. And let's get the next precept in the book of John, the book of St. John 19 and verse 19. And I want to prove that point further, going into that title, that superscription, all right, that stamp, that mark, all right. So it says, and Pilate wrote a title, all right. You write a title, you inscribe, you engrave, all right. You print, you stamp, all right, the title, all right. He wrote a title. I want to look up this word wrote. As you can see on your screen, it says to write with reference to the form of letters. let's see here. Let's see here. As you can see, the Strong's definition, it says to grave. All right, to grave. All right, that's what to write mean. All right, remember etching. Okay, that stamp, that title. All right, that superscription. So it says, and Pilate wrote, engraved a title. All right, now let's look up this word title. An inscription. All right, an inscription. Okay, so it says, and put it on the cross, and the writings. All right, now I want to look up this word writings. The same word as wrote. As you can see, the engraved. All right, to grave. So it says, and the writings was Yahushua of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. All right, which was his title. All right, which was the Lord's title. Just like Caesar is the title for the so-called white man, which today will be referred to as presidents. All right, which is their title, their superscription, the inscription that's written, meaning their name. All right, so that's what it's referring to. All right, so now I'm going to get another precept in the book of Luke, chapter 23 and verse 38. This is Luke 23 and 38, and it reads, and a superscription, meaning title, all right, just like it referred to in Matthew 22, 19 and 20, whose image and superscription, meaning whose title, meaning whose name, whose stamp is on this money. All right, so it says, and a superscription also was written, graved, all right, over him in letters of Greek and in Latin and Hebrew. This is the King of the Jews, which is his title. All right, which is the Lord's title. So now I want to go back to the book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 11, and read it without any private interpretations. All right, so it says, in the smoke of their torment, and we know that smoke is dealing with that indignation, all right, that anger, all right, and the there is referring to the wicked, man, those who deem to be destroyed, that lake, all right, that multitude of people, that body of waters, all right. So it says, in the smoke of their torment, all right, and that torment is referring to that fire, all right, that judgment, all right, and that will be a lake of fire, ascended up forever and ever, meaning for eternity, and they have no rest, day nor night, which worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. All right, now you look up this word name. It says the name is used for anything which the name covers, anything the thought or feeling of which is aroused in the mind by mentioning, all right, hearing, remembering the name. It says authority, interest, pleasure, command. Okay, let's see here. A name, authority, characters. So that would be referring to that stamp, that superscription, meaning what's written, that title. All right, and when you look up this word mark, we all know a stamp. And when you read 1 Maccabees 15, verse 6, it shows you that that stamp is referring to that mark as well. All right, that mark on a coin. All right, and it says an imprinted mark. All right, an imprinted mark, an imprinted stamp, an imprinted name, an imprinted title. All right, so it says thing carved. All right, graven work. All right, just like we read when you look up the word, written. All right. So now I want to get another precept in the book of Job, chapter 19 and verse 23. And it reads, "Oh, that my words were now written, graved. Oh, that they were printed in a book, that they were graven," all right, written, okay. Graven means to dig, cleave, divide, to cut out, all right, to cut out. It says to engrave, to cut, to carve, to engrave, all right, just like we read when you look up the word mark. So it says that they were graven with an iron pen. Now I want to look up this word iron. And as you can see on your screen, a metal, as material of furniture, utensils, impalements. Impalements referring to that shirax. All right. It says iron as cutting to engrave. All right. That's what you write with. All right. It says extension and iron impalement. Okay. So now I want to look up this word pen. And as you can see on your screen, it says stylus. The same thing you use today. All right. A stylus. All right. It says an iron stylus with a diamond tip, used to write on stone or metals. All right. So now that we read that, here in the Strong's definition, a stylus or a marking stick. And the stylus is what you use to write. Those pens that you use to write digitally on your computer or on your phone is referred to as a stylus. All right, a stylus, a marking stick. All right, so now when you go back to the book of Revelations and you look up this word mark and you go to the root word here, and you can see on your screen it says shirax. It says a pail. All right, and we just read a pen. That stylus is an impalement. All right, that iron stylus with a diamond tip. All right, used to what? Engrave, to write. All right, a stake. All right, a stake is in the form of a stake. When you look at a pencil, if you go and look up this word shirax and go into the history, all right, it looks like a stake, a placid. All right, a placid or rampart. That's what it symbolizes. That's what it looks like. Okay, that's what it resembles. Okay, so it says sharpened to the point, just like we read in Job 19:23. That iron pen, that stylus. All right, that's used for what? Scratching. All right. The stake, it says placid rampart. All right, that's used to write. Let's look up the root word, and as you can see here, it says to write. All right, and that's referring to that mark. It's not an RFID microchip, man. That's a private interpretation. It is not biblical. It's not supported by the scriptures. Like I said, it was brought in by the will of man, an Edomite at that, Terry Cook, and these guys that's amongst the circumcision teach it as the Lord's word. All right, so the mark of his name, the mark of the beast, is referring to currency. All right, and you know, if you go into the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, this is the government agency, all right, that sanctions money by law, the dollar bill as money by law. All right, and the name of the bureau is Engraving and Printing, just like you see on your screen here, man. Okay, so basically that's the point, and I hope you brothers was edified. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.